So, what if Apple's plan for its 2025 iPhones is to actually give you 4 new models instead of just different size options? As yes, reports have it that Apple is working on a special Ultra iPhone, but with a bit of what we already have. Google's Pixel 9a has proven to be better in real life than in photos during our hands-on experience. MediaTek is reportedly working with Google on building the future of their AI chips. Google is also bringing dramatic changes to the Tensor G5 that'll power the Pixel 10. Also, those wondering just how good Apple's C1 modem is, the tests are finally in. I'm Jaime Rivera, and nothing better than to end the week with these 5 topics. This is Tech Briefing. I think the time I spent with the Google Pixel 9a this week was better than expected. Can I just start by saying that it looks a lot better in person than the leaks we saw earlier. We have a satin metal frame on the sides matched with a composite matte back and Gorilla Glass 3 at the front, which is known for its scratch resistance. We have 4 color options with obsidian, porcelain, peony, and this purple tone called iris being my favorite. The overall execution feels pretty solid and now rated for IP68 water and dust resistance. Yes, the visor is now gone, which I do miss, but I wonder if that's the reason the battery is now massive at 5100 mAh, all while retaining Qi wireless charging. Inside we have a Tensor G4, 8 gigs of RAM, and either 128 or 256 gigs of storage. Yes, I also had my concerns with so little RAM in the era of AI, but everything points to the same experience whether you get this phone or a more expensive variant. This remains another window to the latest version of Android on day 1 and 7 years of OS security and Pixel drop updates. The cameras are of 48 megapixels in the primary and 13 megapixels in the ultra-wide, along with 13 megapixels in the selfie camera. Again, with the Pixel experience we've come to expect at all price tiers. Now, an interesting change is that we now have macro focus supported, which is a great plus. Connectivity remains 5G sub-6, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, really all the bells and whistles we've come to expect at this price point. Yes, the price remains at $499, which is the same as last year, another aggressive statement. In the limited hands-on time that I had with it, about the only thing that I wish were better is the display. It is a pretty good 6.3-inch Actua display with great color and brightness at 2700 nits of peak brightness. Where I struggle is really in just how large the bezels are. They have improved in the overall symmetry, but yeah, the OnePlus 13R and even the iPhone 16e do a better job. I'll keep you posted on pre-orders and availability as soon as we have more information, as apparently that got delayed. Let me know more about what you think in the comments. Now, MediaTek and Google took the spotlight early in the week with a possible project together. It seems both companies are planning to partner with the goal to develop the next version of Google's AI chips, known as Tensor Processing Units, or TPUs for short, which will be produced next year. MediaTek is pretty famous for its ASIC business model of helping partners build their own custom chips, so this allows Google to leverage their expertise. And no, we're not talking about the Tensor chips on the Pixel phones, which is sad because I feel a custom version of the Dimensity 9400 for Pixels would be 10 times better than what we currently have. For context, like Nvidia, Google designs its own AI chips for internal research to provide cloud services. This helps Google compete in the AI industry while reducing its dependence on Nvidia, whose chips are on high demand. Last week, Google introduced its 6th generation TPU as an alternative to Nvidia's processor. The report claims that one reason Google is choosing MediaTek is its close relationship with TSMC, which is currently leading the pack in chip manufacturing. MediaTek also offers lower prices than Broadcom, their current partner, though we do hear that relationship will remain to some capacity. Seriously curious to know what you think about a further Google and MediaTek partnership, because again, that would be a dream for me if Pixels would come powered that way. But hey, since we already started talking about the Tensor G5, grab some popcorn. Reports have it that Google is making a big change with the upcoming Pixel 10 by introducing the Tensor G5 chip, which completely removes Samsung from the equation. Instead, sources claim that Google has partnered with TSMC directly to manufacture the chip, using its advanced 3nm technology. So, unlike previous Tensor chips that relied on Samsung's hardware and design, the Tensor G5 will feature more custom components components designed by Google. This includes a fully custom ISP for better camera performance, as well as Google's own TPU DSP memory compressor and audio processor, in addition to more details. That said, the CPU and GPU designs apparently will still come from ARM, so that does make me wonder how well this chip will compete with Apple and Qualcomm and their custom cores. Now, other key changes include improvements to the display controller, moving away from Samsung's solution as well. These upgrades are expected to improve performance, efficiency, and software stability. While the overall speed boost may not be huge, Google's deeper control over the chip could lead to better AI features, smoother performance, and a more refined Pixel experience. I'm curious to know if this would make you consider a Pixel 10 in the comments. Now let's switch to Apple for the first of two segments and discuss the company's C1 modem. It's been a pretty big deal for the company to switch away from Qualcomm, and we have heard some claims that the C1 is in some points inferior because, yeah, it lacks millimeter wave. Though in Apple's defense, let's be real, carriers haven't done a good job deploying it, and where I have found signal, it's not like if I've been able to download a movie in seconds given carrier throttling. That said, those curious about performance itself, Ookla just provided some insights. The company behind speedtest.net did a recent test with some interesting results. Overall, the Qualcomm modem tested faster, but when network speeds are good. It seems Apple's C1 modem does a far better job when network conditions are poor. For example, in areas with slow connection, the iPhone 16e had better speeds than even the regular iPhone 16. Now, on the other hand, when networks were strong, the iPhone 16 performed better. We also hear T-Mobile in particular showed the iPhone 16e had slightly slower speeds, which could be due to the lack of full carrier aggregation support right now on Apple C1, though that being said, just take all the tests with a grain of salt, as Ookla is not necessarily known for the full reliability of its test. Now, as for the future of Apple's modems, reports also claim that the C2 chip is in the works for the iPhone 18 Pro models, though we're not sure if this will be the integrated model that also fits in Apple's 8 chips or not. I'm curious to know how you feel about this in the comments, because listen, I've been testing the iPhone 16e on Verizon, and it performs great in both connectivity and endurance. Oh my god, the endurance is just great. And finally, for the most interesting news today, let's talk about the next iPhones, and notice that I say it plural. We've previously discussed how Apple's upcoming iPhone 17 series is rumored to bring a major design change, at least if you consider the Air and the Pro models. Well, dummy models continue to emerge, and we have new details. According to a new batch of leaks from Sony Dickinson, the iPhone 17 Pro will feature a combination of glass and metal in the back instead of all glass in the design of the current models. This is the second time we hear this, so I'm going to start taking it seriously. The glass section will be around the Apple logo to support wireless charging, while the rest of the body will be aluminum for better durability. This marks a shift away from the titanium chassis used on the iPhone 16 and 15 Pro models, and the shift away from the all-glass design we've seen since the iPhone 8 and 10. Now, another key design change is the new horizontal camera bar on the iPhone 17 Pro models and the rumored iPhone 17 Air. The camera bump is also expected to have a smoother transition into the back panel due to the new glass and metal manufacturing process. Again, second time we hear this. Now, where things get interesting is that the new report claims that Apple may introduce an Ultra model of the iPhone 17 lineup. Previous rumors of this name never really materialized, but new reports suggest that Apple might finally make it happen. All things indicate that the Pro Max is gonna probably become that Ultra, but then have added changes like a smaller dynamic island, a vapor chamber cooling system, and a larger battery, making it thicker than the standard Pro model. Some sources claim it'll also have 12 gigs of RAM and possibly 3 48-megapixel cameras, though this last detail is still debated. This pretty much means that Apple's strategy for 2025 could be 4 different iPhone variations instead of 2 sizes of the same phone. If you think of it, iPhone 17, 17 Air, 17 Pro, and 17 Ultra. In today's question, let me know, do you like the idea of 4 different iPhone types to choose from? Because listen, in my case, I think it's a pretty smart move to give consumers more choice than just size. But listen, that's just me. I'm curious to know what you think in the comments. Friends, so far we've recorded 3 episodes out of 47 in what is to come of Phase 2, so stay tuned as it's coming soon. This is something completely new for me, so it takes time for me to edit it and build it out just right. For now, please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments. Tell your friends I've started a new channel, and follow me on social media to see more of a behind the scenes of what we've been doing with Josh. Our company, One Verb Media, has now officially grown to 7 people, so we really hope you like what you see. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.